Hi guys, so we are now over at the Piper stand looking at this fantastic M600 with Sean here. Sean's the owner of BEA, and nice to see you, Sean. Thanks for your time.
Absolute pleasure.
So to start with, tell us a bit about BEA and what you do.
Okay, so BEA is a family-owned company. There's myself and my 3 children. Well, there's about 8 relatives in the business. We're pretty much total aviation.
Cool.
So we run the airfield, everything you see here. We've got the helicopter company, Heliair, over there.
Yep.
This is the fixed wing company for AAA that runs the airfield. We do pilot training, engineering training, we do control tower training, everything to do with aviation.
Yeah.
Within that, each part of the business has its separate running. So although we're a very small family business, we do about 20,000 hours a year.
Wow.
And that is from charter into some of the big events like Cheltenham, stuff like that, with the helicopters.
Okay.
And then we charter these fellows out, and these go everywhere from short hops, Guernsey to Southampton, to the longer hops. This one, for example, you leave here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon you're on the boat in Portugal.
Brilliant. Awesome.
We're particularly chatting about the M600 because it is just an amazing plane. Do I know anything about flying? I've been flying since I was 12 years old.
Brilliant.
I've flown pretty much every aircraft type there is, from an R22 to a Super Puma, from a 152 to a 747.
Wow.
So this aircraft is better equipped than the 747.
Wow.
And so what it gives you is the opportunity to buy a means of transport that you can rely on.
Yeah.
A lot of aeroplanes, it's should I go because of the weather, shouldn't I go because of the weather? This aircraft has got absolutely everything. So there are only about 8 days a year that are too foggy or too windy where we won't go. Otherwise we will go, and that means that for our customers who book a charter, it's not are we going to go, aren't we going to go? It is, we're going. So this aircraft will fly at up to 30,000 feet.
Okay.
We generally fly between 20,000 feet and 26,000 feet. The main reason being that airspace is full. Above 30,000 feet, all the big boys are fighting for the space.
RBSM airspace.
That's right. Below 20,000 feet, all the little boys are fighting for the space. We live between 20 and 30. So I did Zurich last year. BA's flight had a 2-hour delay, and even EasyJet, who are usually the best at getting the slots, they'd have got an 1.5-hour delay. And the controller called me up and said, "You're cleared to start, and off you go." Because nobody wants our airspace. So we tend to live in that band. This aircraft's most efficient at about 25,000 feet. She cruises at 275 knots.
Wow.
She burns about 290 pounds of fuel an hour. And fully de-iced. You've got full weather radar, you've got every capability, and an example of what this has that the 747 doesn't have is the weather radar in this will scan horizontally, so you can see where the big lumpy bits are, but at night you can't see where they are in height.
Of course.
So going down to South Africa, you would go 600 miles off course because you didn't know where the tops were, so you'd have to go all the way around. This radar will tell you where the tops are.
Brilliant.
So you can decide, well, I can get over those, so I know it's there, but I can go over the top. 747 doesn't have that.
Wow. And what about the M600 between the 500 and the 600? It's got a different wing, this one, isn't it?
That's right. So the absolutely unusual thing about this aircraft, which I'm not very technical at all, but what I find hard to understand is that you're cruising at 275 knots, like that, and then you come into a small airfield like this, and your stall speed is 65 knots. And all you've done is just put this big piece of metal down. There's no Fowler flaps, there's no wing extenders.
No vortex.
It is just, nothing like that. It's just this big piece of metal. So I have no idea how they did it, but the difference on this wing to the M500, the M350, is it's out and out performance.
Yeah. Is it bigger, the wing? No,
yes, it is.
Oh, yes,
so
okay.
the 350 it comes in at the front and then does a curve like that.
Yes.
Whereas this is straight.
Straight out, yeah.
And then the fuel tank is basically virtually the whole of the wing.
Wow.
So it's a very shallow.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she'll stay up in the air. If with IFR reserves, you've got 5 hours 15.
Okay.
The only thing is I can't do 5 hours 15 because I need a wee.
Yeah.
So, because
3
no
hours.
toilet.
3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 hours is about it.
Yep.
It's got the Garmin 3000, which is absolutely, because it's single pilot IFR, the Garmin 3000 is like having your best friend.
Yeah.
And then the Garmin Autopilot, it's stunning.
Yeah.
You have a thing in severe turbulence called eyeball shake,
Okay.
where your eyeballs are shaking and you can't actually read the instruments.
Right.
Normally at that level, you're in it and
Yeah.
you're trying to get out of it and you're busy and fighting with air traffic control.
Yep.
And you need the autopilot. I've had eyeball shake in this and the autopilot stayed in.
Wow.
I've had eyeball shake in the 747 and the autopilot dropped out.
Whoa.
Now, bearing in mind that up until I flew this aircraft, my favourite aircraft was the 747.
I bet it was, yeah.
And you know, I've flown them all, 75, 76, 111, all of them. This is the machine. So for a private owner,
Yep.
which is literally your own aeroplane,
Yeah.
you know, you turn up here in your car, you put your baggages in,
Yep.
you get the wife and the children in or your partner, you start up,
Yep.
and then you're up. You join the airways,
And you're off.
26,000 feet, straight down to Portugal.
Exactly.
As if you had a jet. Now, jets cost around about 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
These aircraft are basically 30,000 a year to own once you bought it.
Yeah.
What we do and our skill with helicopters and aeroplanes is we rent it back from them when they're not busy.
Brilliant.
So pretty much most of our owners actually on hangarage maintenance, fuel, and even your bacon butty, because we use it as much as they want us to, they actually get a check at the end of the year.
Awesome.
And they've had
It
free
doesn't cost them
flying.
anything. Yeah.
No.
That's such a good.
That's what we set up with. So you'll see signs around the stand for Leaseback.
Yeah.
That's how we do so many hours, because I'm not rich enough to own all the metal.
Yeah, of course.
But then what I do is I've got all the other owners. It also means that, say you own this aircraft and it's due for an annual,
Yep.
she'll be down on the ground about 2 to 3 weeks maybe. So we then lend the owner of this one of the other ones that we've got of these.
Yeah.
And so
Vice
it's
versa,
owner
yeah.
swaps, so you don't have it on
Yeah.
the ground.
Makes absolute
And
sense.
that's where you get, it's the whole experience of aviation that we sell as BEA,
Yep.
not just the individual item.
Brilliant. Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much, Sean. Thank you
Absolute
for your
pleasure.
time.
Hopefully that's
Taking
helped
us
you.
through. Yeah. So,
Good.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.